so the theme of these questions is you are not safe.
If you squint hard enough, you'll see them.
No, you won't.
Lorraine's a 22-year-old female with past medical history of extreme paleness who presents to the beach with chief complaint of, I haven't left my apartment/bunker/study cave in 5 months except to go to the library. An avid gamer, Lorraine has explored most of the scenic beaches in Breath of the Wild already, but someone recently told her that doesn't count as being outside. And so she applies her SPF 10 sunscreen and heads out to a real beach. Over in the land of sand, people are lounging on beach chairs, somehow reading even with terrible glare, playing fetch with their dogs, and taking selfies for the Book of Faces, while a lifeguard surveys the domain on a tall chair of lifeguarding and superiority. Lorraine, being a med student, notices a few extra details, like the fact that the lifeguard has a nice diffuse tan, except for a number of lighter circular spots that don't seem to darken. Or the fact that the 70-somewhat-year-old man on his lounge chair has a suspiciously pearly vascular nodule on his nose. Deciding to forget all that and just enjoy her day, she buys an ice cream cone and eats it while walking barefoot through the sand, with the sun looming large and beautiful in the background. Sounds nice, right? Well, this next part may not. Later that evening, Lorraine begins having pain over her arms, face, and feet. Her skin in these areas is initially red, but becomes deeper in color over the next few hours, with a sharp demarcation at the boundaries. Pain is the worst 48 hours after it begins peeling. A few days later, her feet become intensely itchy, or pruritic if you must, with painful linear red raised eruptions spreading upward. You, a concerned friend who watched a few episodes of Scrubs a couple of months ago, hear about her predicament and tell her she has A. Tinea corporis, B. Tinea versicolor, aka pityriasis versicolor, C. Med student syndrome, D. Sunburn, E. Verruca plantaris, not to be mistaken for the girl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I hate her.
I'm Veruca Salt. It's very nice to meet you, sir.
I always thought a verruca was a type of wart you got on the bottom of your foot.
Toxicara canis, F. Cutaneous larva migrans, G. Swimming after eating before waiting an hour syndrome, H. Squamous cell carcinoma, or I. Porphyria cutanea tarda.
Well, it's not I, because we did that last time.
But we want you to think.
Never repeat twice.
Oh, yes. By the way, did your parents used to tell you, you can't swim before you wait an hour after eating or you'll die? They never actually told you what would happen if you ate and then swam, before waiting the amount of time? So.
Linear streaks, what is it?
Painful linear red raised eruptions spreading upward.
So probably not tinea corporis or tinea versicolor, because I've never heard those associated with pain.
I know barefoot.
Maybe cutaneous larva migrans, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the barefoot being a big thing.
Especially because they're linear eruptions too.
Yeah.
I would love to meet the patient who, when asked about their past medical history, says they are extremely pale. Yeah, how would they actually know that?
And it actually made it into the notes, so this was a significant finding.
How long have you been extremely pale? I don't like Twitch at all. That was a great thing that you said.
What are you guys going with? Steven, you thought it was med student syndrome? 100%? Alright, you guys need final choices.
F.
F? Alright, final answers.
Cutaneous larva migrans. This is a bad question. There's not supposed to be two answers.
I disagree. Excuse me.
There should have been a day that said both D and F.
I was running out of space on the slide, okay? Alright, so there's actually a reason that this has two answers, because in medicine we always talk about Occam's razor, which is basically the thing that requires the fewest number of assumptions is usually correct. However, you can get a strange hookworm in your foot and also get sunburn. I named her Lorraine because that's one of the characters in Jaws. It's a very obscure reference. Just to explain a little bit about this, you can see what this actually looks like. With the burrows, it's because the larvae actually are tunneling under the skin. Cutanea larva migrans actually means wandering larvae under the skin, which sounds fantastic, I know. And it's most commonly acquired in tropical locations. It's a hookworm infection. Usually the eggs are carried in dog and cat intestines, so when they lay the eggs in the sand, usually in warm places, they develop into the larva, and when you, a human who is majestically strolling around barefoot in the sand trying to meet every image of a perfect summer, the larvae burrow into your feet where they can't get further than that, but as they try to go and move through the skin, what actually happens is as they're burrowing through the skin, your body has an allergic reaction to the larvae themselves. So you can see where they're moving, not because that's where they actually are currently, but because that's where they were. That's what your body was reacting to. It is called a creeping eruption and causes a red, blistering, kind of burrowing pattern. It usually self-resolves, but you can use everybody's favorites, albendazole and ivermectin. And then she also has a sunburn. So remember, she initially, in the first 48 hours, had this red, painful, peeling rash, especially on her feet, which is very different from the other thing she had, which is this red, blistering blistering, a creeping eruption rash she had. So you can get both. Just because sometimes it is one thing and all the symptoms are caused by one thing doesn't mean you can't also get a sunburn, which is what she had.
Next time, Carissa says both.
Great.
I've got you under my skin.